everyone. Welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie, Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie, Jessica.
Hey. Okay, so today we want to do the second half of our Christmas book haul. We've split this into two because we didn't want the videos to be extremely long, but we want to show you, again, how well our husbands did this year at Christmas. So Mandy, what do you have first for us?
Okay, I have some books from my Bell box. So I'm going to show, or I'm doing two at a time, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I have Megan Quinn, The Reunion. Okay. And it came with the signed book plate, Yay. Which is always fun.
Have you read any Megan Quinn yet?
I have, I think. I'm pretty sure. She's on my TBR at least.
I know, I have some stuff on my TBR, but I don't know that I've read her yet.
I'll have to go back and look. I thought I had, but I can't. I'm pretty sure I have.
Okay.
So The Reunion is about this like really happy couple that have like the love of their life, and it's their 50th wedding anniversary, and their 3 kids all come to the reunion, but their 3 kids have kind of struggled with love and finding love. So this is the story of the Chance siblings coming together and hopefully finding love. I'm curious, it looks like flipping through here that lots of people have, or maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. It looks like there's a lot of point of views. That's at least dual point of view, but it looked, yeah, there's multiple people's point of view. So I'm wondering if this is going to be like 3 love stories in one, or how it's going to play out. I'm curious. I'll definitely be reading it, but right now I'm sucked into some other books. So I'll be getting to it.
Sorry, sometimes that like more than multiple point of view thing is a good thing, and sometimes it's a bad thing. It depends on the author and how it's done. So I'll be very interested in hearing like how you like that one when we do our best book tea and you finally get to it.
Okay, then the next one is called Second Chance Contract by M. Robinson. I don't think I
have that.
Oh,
I've read that and I have it. Yes, I have that one. You got that. That's a special edition cover, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it's the
it has like the pretty pages on the side.
Yeah, I got that one too. I love M. Robinson. She is one of my favorites.
Okay, well, I'll definitely put this high on my TBR. So this is, so it says, I come from nothing and made something of myself. I've only ever loved 2 things, cars and her. And it sounds like he's demanding and arrogant. That's how he's describing himself. And his company thinks that they're going to change him and soften his image by hiring this woman to help him, who is actually his best friend's little sister. And it says, the last time I saw her, I broke her heart. So it sounds like this is definitely going to be a second chance romance. Yeah. I do enjoy a good arrogant asshole that falls in love.
Don't we all?
And changes miraculously. So I'm curious about this one. The back, I love the side, how the side looks. And then the back description definitely has it going high on my TBR.
Yeah, and it was good. I remember reading it, it was good. M. Robinson also has some like darker stuff. That we can talk about later that I really, really like. So at some point in time, we'll discuss that. Maybe we'll just do a deep dive on M. Robinson at some point because I really like her. I love her writing. So, okay. So the first thing that I have for all of you guys is it's a series that the hubby got me for Christmas. I have 3 out of the 4. The 4th one just hasn't arrived yet because I just ordered it when I realized that I told him to order the series and he didn't order all of them. And in true Jessica
darn
fashion, darn him. True Jessica fashion, it is not. Mandy says I like odd stuff. I don't think it's odd. I love this. So this is the Newly Undead in Dark River series. I am not one to jump on a vampire train. Vampires are not my thing. I remember all the girls in school reading like Anne Rice and stuff, and I was like, whatever. But this is so much fun. So I've mentioned Grace McGinty in a few of our other videos. I actually have another one of her books here that I got for Christmas because I love her writing. So this is a reverse harem. It's a series. So I have the 3. So the first one is Newly Undead in Dark River, and then Happily Undead in Dark River, and Pleasantly Undead in Dark River. And these are the new covers for it. So basically what happens is Micah wakes up in like a drainage ditch or something outside of this town in Dark River. She wakes up, she doesn't know where her backpack is, she doesn't know where her stuff is. She'd been hiking and she just does not know what happened. So she stumbles into town, and in the town of Dark River, they're all vampires. It's like this vampire community where they're kept safe. They have their own law enforcement and the whole nine. And she just kind of stumbles in and she's like, walks into this diner. And I totally, in my mind, picture the diner from the show Once Upon a Time. I totally picture the town as the one from Once Upon a Time. Doesn't help that it's filmed like right 20 minutes from the house, and we were there a lot when they were filming. But that is what I picture, is that little town. And she just waltzes in there and she's like, hey, what's up? Man, I am thirsty. And she's not thirsty for milk. And so the sheriff kind of takes him under her wing, but there's this mystery of who killed her, because there's all these rules. They're not allowed to make new vampires, and they're not allowed to feed from humans. And so there's all these rules, and they're trying to figure out who did this, why they did this. You have the mystery of it involved, and then you get to meet the guys of her harem. And yeah,
so it's reverse harem.
It's reverse harem, but it's also paranormal, because you have shifters.
It's everything you need in a book.
It's all of it. You've got shifters, you've got her best friend who's a boy who's blind, who, you know, makes contact with her, and it's just a whole thing. Trust me, this series is worth it. If you like paranormal and you like a little bit of reverse harem, Grace McKenty does the reverse harem in a way that doesn't get me confused. And that's what I need. Like, I need the men to be defined. Otherwise I get confused. I really do. So that's my first one. What else you got there, Mandy?
I loved Twilight, but when I read Twilight, I had never watched the movies, but it was hard to like do anything in life and not know who Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson were. Like, you knew that's like Bella and Edward. So I think when I read the books, I could visualize that better.
Right.
But if I could just blindly read a vampire series. I don't know.
Oh, I love this. But did you know that's not who Edward was supposed to look like? Edward was made, like, Stephanie Meyer's vision for Edward was a young, and oh man, I love this man when he was young. It was a young Henry Cavill. So if you look up Henry Cavill when he was young, I was like, so my youngest has asked for the Twilight series for her birthday later in January. And I mentioned that to her, and she's like, well, I want to see him. And so I pulled up a picture of what he looked like when he was young, and she was like, oh. And then I was like, do you want to see what he looks like now? And she's like, yeah. And so I showed him a picture of him now, and she was like, oh. And I was like, same, girl. Same. Same. So yeah. Okay,
my next two books from the Bell Box. This is Forever Right Now by Emma Scott.
I got that too.
Have you read it?
No, but I want to.
Okay, we should read it together.
Yeah, let's do it. We could do a reading vlog with it.
Okay, that sounds fun. Let's do that. So really, I'm just kind of going off of what's on the back here, because I haven't obviously read it yet. But so this is about Darlene and Sawyer. Darlene has had, like, it sounds like a really bad life. She's been involved in drugs and just got out of jail. She's clean and trying to like do her best in this new city. And she has this new neighbor, Sawyer, who has a little girl. Sawyer is like working his butt off to become a lawyer. And he's very close. And he just doesn't have time or patience for anything else other than trying to become a lawyer and take care of his daughter. But it sounds like she's maybe slowly kind of creeping in and breaking down some walls. And then Olivia, who's his daughter's absentee's mother, the parents of her mother, so her grandparents on her mom's side, come back to fight for custody. And so it says to have any chance at happiness, he must trust Darlene, the woman who has somehow found her way past his brittle barbs, and Darlene must decide how much of her own bruised heart she is willing to give to Sawyer and Olivia, especially when the ghosts of her troubled past refuse to stay buried. So it sounds like there's a lot of different things going on in here. I'm excited to read it. So let's do that. Let's
schedule a time and do that this month.
Let's do it.
Yeah, and I have to apologize if anybody can hear my husky in the background. My husband is home and I can hear her talking to the husband in the kitchen. She's probably looking for treats.
So my next book is Inseparable by Siobhan Davis. It has the very pretty pages. So I think this is like, it's obviously a special edition. And I want to be really careful. I don't want to like crease my pages or anything, but it is, it is a signed edition. So I was very excited to get that. So this follows Angelina, and she has two best friends, Devin and Aiden. It does not say anywhere on here that it's reverse harem, but I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't go that way, or it's...
If she only has two best friends, then it's a menage. It's the three of them.
Okay. So two is a menage?
Two guys and the one girl is menage. Just three people in general is menage. And then if she ends up getting a third dude rocking the scene, then you can call it reverse harem.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So I guess I don't read a lot of those types of books.
You don't. That's okay though. It's
so
not
this,
for everybody.
Her best friends are Devin and Aiden through school, and then it doesn't tell us what, but something, they're inseparable, and then something happens during their senior year of school. And it sounds like Devin is starting to kind of turn into a clone of his deadbeat low-life father. And she's been hiding a secret crush on him for years, but she keeps quiet and just kind of slowly watches him self-destruct. And then Devin, so while Devin is all brooding darkness, Aiden was the shining light, our star quarterback with the bright future, whom everyone loved. And he was so guarded and he wouldn't let me in, is what it says. So Devin publicly shamed me. Aiden took my side and our awesome threesome bond was severed. The split was devastating. And so everyone, it sounds like, moves on with their lives until it all comes to a head in college, and one eventful night changed everything. And then it says, now I've lost the two people who matter more to me than life itself. Nothing will ever be the same again. So this looks like a little bit thicker of a read. It looks like there's a lot of stuff to unpack in this book. I've learned with other books with Siobhan Davis, what you read on the back and what you think you are getting may not actually be what happens. She's very good at having other things happening that kind of blow your mind.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about this one because just based on that description, this book could go in so many different directions.
You have to read that one before we go to Love in Seattle in April.
I will.
She's going to be there, and I've ordered a few books from her already for that trip of ours, and obviously we're very excited for it, but yeah, you definitely got to read it and let me know how that one is. Yeah. So I have, and Mandy knows I got this one already. A lot of these are like mysteries to us, but she knows I got this one because I talk about it all the time. So I got From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata for Christmas. This one I read just a couple weeks back, totally addicted. I put off reading Mariana Zapata for quite a while because she's like the queen of slow burn. And, you know, I remember messaging Mandy somewhere around the 80% mark going, I don't even think they've kissed, but I didn't care. It was just that good of a book that I didn't care that the steam and stuff didn't happen until basically the last couple chapters of the book. It was just, it sucked you in and you cared about the story more than you did about any spice or any scenes. This is perfect for those who don't typically want to have those big old love scenes in books, just because you get one. You get one in this book, and that is fine by me. I totally was 100% okay with that. So this is the story of Jasmine and Ivan. So Ivan Lukov, that's where you're getting the Lukov from. They're both pairs figure skaters. Ivan has won all sorts of awards, and he's been to the Olympics and all that good stuff. And Jasmine has not. They've had different partners. They skate at the same rink. They loathe each other. Jasmine is best friends with Ivan's little sister. And so he's been around her whole life, or ever since she started skating. They've been tormenting each other for all these years. And we get into a situation where Jasmine doesn't have a partner and Luca doesn't have a partner, or not Luca. Ivan doesn't have a partner. And so he proposes that they become each other's partner for just 1 year. And if she agrees to it, then he and his coach will find her a great pairs partner afterwards. And so she agrees to it just because she has, sacrificed her whole life and had no medal, nothing to show for the sacrifices that she's put in as an ice skater. And so you get them practicing and, hating each other and going back and forth. The banter is great. I was sucked in from the very beginning. It's a longer book. It's over 500 pages. I read it within a day. I couldn't put it down. I did listen to the audio as well. So I listened while I read, and I could actually speed it up to get through it faster. But it was so good. It'll be put on my list of rereads for later in the year because I'm going to want to read it again. So what else did you get for Christmas?
So I have Colty by Mary Pazzo. So this, I just started it, and I will be honest, I'm like 40 pages in, and he has just now shown up.
Mm-hmm.
So the first 40 pages are just her.
Yeah.
So when she was a little girl, I think she was 7 and he's 19, and he becomes a superstar. Like he gets put in during, it's not the World Cup. It was like the Altus Cup or something. I don't
so
know.
this is soccer. Well,
yes.
Soccer or football for everywhere but the US. So yeah.
So I don't follow soccer, so I don't know if that was a made up cup or if it's a real cup, but in the book, Altus, Altus. It was a big deal, like really big deal. And he gets put in at the last minute because some players get hurt, and he scores this winning goal, and this just shoots him to fame. She, being a young girl, this is like kind of what inspires her to want to play soccer. Her brother plays soccer as well. Her parents aren't really thrilled about her playing soccer too, but she insists. She gets all the posters. She decides she's going to marry him. And then he betrays her when she's 17. Granted, this man has never met her. Okay. This is like childhood, teenage fantasy. So at 17, he marries somebody when she's 17. So he's, he's got to be like 30 now.
Yeah.
And then she has this dramatic ripping of the posters off the wall. She is now 27 and is playing professional soccer. He is just retired. It sounds like some things in his life have exploded and have been quite public knowledge, but we don't know what any of that is yet. And he comes to be her coach. And that is all that I know it's going on. So this is going to be their story. I'm assuming this is going to be a slow burn since I'm like 40 some pages in, and he hasn't even spoken a word yet. He just showed up to this meeting that they're having. So this is their story.
It will be slow. It will be very slow.
I have seen other people post about this, that this is a really, really good forbidden romance. So I'm very curious about it, and I will someday finish it and report back. What I think is funny is I read like 400 to 500 pages on a book in a Kindle all the time, but when it is in like an actual book, it just hits different.
Yes.
It's on your Kindle.
Yes, I know. That's when you first got it and you were like, look at this. We were Marco Poloing back and forth. I was like, whoa, that's big. And then you're like, oh, well, it's only 500 some odd pages. And I just finished a book bigger than that on my Kindle. And I was like, yeah, it hits different when you're holding it in your hand.
Yeah.
It really does. Yeah. So what I got next was a Dark Hearts romance mystery box. And I just didn't realize until I just opened it to show everybody that there is a bunch of swag in the bottom of the box. Oops. The one thing that I'm loving and I wish I would have had before Christmas, like not in the box, is this. It says put book money in here. And it's a Christmas stocking. I'm going to have to save this for next year. I need a bigger version of this, actually. Let's be honest. That is so totally cute. So yeah, there's definitely some swag in here. Heartless Heroes coloring book. Man, I don't ever have time to color, but that's kind of cool. It's got some really neat coloring book stuff in here. Okay, cool. So that came with it. And then The books that came with it.
Oh, you can color the pictures like while you're listening to an audiobook and then decorate your wall back there with all your color pages.
I have some to put on the wall, but when we put pictures up, it's just kind of nice to have that blank canvas. Okay,
Yes.
so one of the other things that came in it is just this cute little notebook. We can use notebooks. This could be, I mean, I always love a good notebook, especially spiral bound notebooks, so that's great. The actual books that came in it. There's 3 of them here. This one is Dark Mafia Prince by Annika Martin. Never heard of it. It looks like it's a smaller book. It says, Alaska grew up orphaned, hunted because of my father. Now the sweet boy I knew is a dark prince, gorgeous and brutal in his Armani suit. He drags me into his hard, glittering life. These are really hard to read because the way the light wearing off of it. He wraps my hair in his fist. Oh, yeah. He'll do anything to rescue his brothers, and I'm my father's only weakness. I get it. Okay. I'm the most dangerous enemy you'll ever have, he tells me, because every time you look at me, you see somebody good. But I remember when Alaska was my childhood friend. I remember when they lowered his tiny casket into the ground and how I cried when they lied to us and told us the prince was dead. Oh, okay, that sounds kind of good. I'm okay. You know me in Mafia. I love a good Mafia story. So, in a fake death, which you just gave it away. You put that on the back, but that's okay. That's okay.
It probably happens right away.
Probably. So this second one is by Sarah Fields. It's Mine to Keep, and I don't know. I think I've heard this book. This looks like it is the first, because it says book 1, so there must be more in a series. It says he's not a boss, he's the boss. Hi. I can still remember the moment I first heard Cyrus Holt's deep, commanding voice. I don't know who he was or about the life he left behind. I was just a trembling orphan on the run from a monster, and he was the man offering me shelter and not giving me a choice about it. This boss of bosses didn't assign someone else to watch over me. He slept on the floor next to my bed when I woke up scared, then spanked me like a naughty little girl when I lied to him. Okay. Could have claimed me that night, ravaging me without mercy or remorse, but he didn't. He made me beg for it because he didn't just want me as his for a night. He wanted me as his to keep. This sounds like it might have some scenes that the husband and I can laugh at. But again, spanked me. All right. Well, we'll try that. And then this one, and I think, and these are signed. Like this next one is signed by the author. I didn't check those two. But this is Ruins of Temptation by C. Holman and J.L. Beck. And I haven't heard of these guys for authors. So obviously this looks like Mafia as well. I'm sensing a theme here. So Ruins of Temptation, it says, I spent 5 years trying to be someone I'm not, controlled and humanized. Still, the darkness lurks inside me, waiting for a chance to break free. As the headmaster at Quorum University, I must maintain professionalism and keep myself in check. Okay. I managed to do that until the day I discover I have a daughter and all the carefully constructed walls I've built around myself start to crumble. I know I need an outlet, a way to shut it off. And then she lands in my lap, Delilah. I want to punish her, humiliate her, and hurt her in the best ways. It's nothing but a cat and mouse game till I discover the secrets she's hiding. So I don't think it sounds like a secret baby. It doesn't sound like it's Delilah's baby, but maybe it's the best friend's dad. I don't know. This is a dark age gap romance. This is right up your alley.
It is.
It is. It's actually both of our alleys. So that'll be fun to check out. So that's what I got out of that box. What else did you get from Barnes & Noble?
I have a couple more books. How much do you have left?
I have 2 more.
Okay. So you want me to do my 2 and then you'll do your 2?
Yeah.
Okay. So I picked up Penelope Douglas, Misconduct. Penelope Douglas is definitely a favorite author of mine. So I'll be honest, I just saw a Penelope Douglas book that I haven't read. Our Barnes & Noble where I'm at does not have a lot of the authors that I love. so when I saw this, I just grabbed it and I'm
And
like,
I think
oh,
just
Penelope
this
Douglas.
past year, just this past year, we read a lot of indie authors. And just this past year, Barnes & Noble has started carrying some indie authors, but my local one doesn't have that many. I noticed when I was there a couple of days ago, like 2 days after Christmas, they had a few more than what they had before, but still not as many as like if I go to Seattle, which is 2 hours south of where I live. If I go to Seattle and go to their Barnes & Noble, there's far more and way more options. So every time I have a doctor's appointment, I stop at the Barnes & Noble down there. But same for you, I'm sure.
So Misconduct is a taboo romance. And this is a former tennis player who is a young teacher. She's trying to do like the best that she can. And she meets Tyler for the first time to see why his son is having trouble in school. And it sounds like things escalate based on the picture here.
You think?
I'm
really curious for you how this book is going to hit.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So it sounds like she starts to hook up with one of her students' dads, and I'll let you know how that goes, because I will definitely have this high on my TBR. Penelope Douglas is always a must read. And then I'm currently working my way through, I'm like reading a lot. I maybe need to focus in on something because I'm like all over the board with my reading right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I read A Court of Thorn and Roses, and I'm waiting for, the third part of the audio is now out.
Yeah, the third part of the audio came out last night or yesterday or something. I got the message. I sent you a text about it.
So I read the first book, and then the second book I listened to the dramatization audio, which I loved. It was really good.
Wait, can I just tell them, how long have I told you to read?
Oh, shush. And then the third book, I didn't realize, but I listened to the first part. And when I went to, it was 3 parts this time. And so when I went to grab the third part, it said it was not out until January 1st. So I sent Jessica some hateful messages about how rude that was to get me started in something that was not completed. So I now need to go back.
You could have listened to the regular audio. You were on a road trip when you started it, which is part of the reason why you did audio. But once you start the dramatization, you really want to finish the dramatization. The dramatized one is so much fun.
Already over halfway through it when I found out that the third part wasn't out yet. Yeah. So anyways,
I'm dying for you to finish the third part, by the way.
I picked up the novella of Frost and Starlight. And then you also have this. Have you read it yet?
Yeah, I read it a few weeks before Christmas. I read it in December because I had it when I started reading ACOTAR. I'd heard that one had nothing to do with plot, and I wanted to get through the 4 books. I wanted to get to Nesta and Cassian's book. I just wanted to get there. And so I saved that one. And then when I saw that it was like, well, they refer to it, it's winter solstice for them. But when I realized it was a holiday novella, I was like, well, I'm going to wait till Christmas. And then Christmas came around. It's come around a couple times and I haven't done it. This year I was like, yes, I'm going to do it. So while I was wrapping Christmas presents, I listened to that. So there's nothing plot wise in there that's going to move the series forward. There's a few things that come up, but it's something that you don't have to read before you can go into a quarter, whatever the last one is. I
think this is listed on her page as book 3.5.
Yeah, because it's a novella, but it's definitely good.
It's a novella, but what's interesting is it's actually 229 pages, and a lot of times novellas are less than that. So this is a little bit longer for novella. I don't want to talk about this series at all, though, because I feel like there's so many spoilers, and I'd rather do a video, like total deep dive on it. But I did this.
There's a lot of info out there about the ACOTAR series, so it's out there.
Yeah, so I want to read, I'm going to finish the third book because I'm like already halfway through it, and then I'm going to read this. Even though I know it's a Christmas novella, I'm still going to read it in January. So that's my book haul. I do have one more thing coming in the mail, and it's taken forever. I know that shipping and all of that stuff, but my other book box
we can save it fast for later in the month because I will have a birthday book haul.
Awesome.
So later in January. So, okay, so I have 2 more books as well. one of those I just have to show because I love it. It is not a book, but it is to keep track of my books. So this is the 300 books reading challenge. This came off of Amazon like everything else. So this will hold, so I read 450 books this last year. Obviously I'm gonna need 2 of these, but we're gonna fill it up first before we worry about getting another one. But this is the Spicy Bookworm Journalist who put this out. I saw Jen from the Book Refuge got this, and that's where I was like, I need that for Christmas because that book is perfect. It's hard for me to find a book journal that actually can hold all the books that I read for the most part, and is pretty simplistic in what, like it hits all the nails on the head for what we need for reviewing books. So I have, again, this was Jen said, I have a FOMO printer or FOMO printer that prints out just like the picture of what I was reading. It only does it in black and white, but it hits the high notes. Like where is it on the spice scale? How many stars did you give it? You know, who are your favorite characters? Your little review, your favorite quotes. Is this a series? Is this a second time read? So it hits the high points for me. So this was definitely worth it. This was one of the things that I was like, yay, it's finally here. I finally get to open it. So I loved that one, this one. And then the last book that I have is Sticks and Stone by Grace McGinty. Mandy knows I love this one. I will not talk all day about this one because I do that in a different video in my review for it. But this one is another reverse harem. But this is about a girl who's just lost her parents and then come to find out she has a half brother that is an infant, and the mom for that half brother has passed away and they need a full-time guardian. They need someone to adopt the baby. So she steps up to adopt the baby, and in the process of that finds out that the baby has some uncles. They were all in foster care together, so they're not blood uncles, but the uncles are hockey players. One's a CEO, the other 2 are hockey players. They all live together, and they say, you know, bring that baby and come live with us. Basically, they try to bribe her into it. She agrees to do it for a couple of months. She gets there, and there's attraction between all 3. And one of them sits down and says, I think we should try to have a poly relationship. And they actually use the word polyamorous instead of reverse harem in this book. And so it explores that. It explores that with a baby involved. It explores what happens when some very prominent figures, you know, get into a relationship with the same girl and like the prejudices against that and stuff. So it was a very, very good read. It was one of my top reads of the year. So I'm just gonna hold this right here. So that is all that I got for Christmas, and that's all that Mandy got for Christmas. So thank you for joining us again today and seeing all the fun stuff that we got for Christmas. Check back for our other videos where we actually review the books that we went through so you can hear all about them for the ones we haven't read. Yes. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and leave a comment. Mandy, what kind of comments do you want to see this time around?
So we talked about some books that are definitely on our TBR for this coming year. So what's on your TBR? Did you get some books for Christmas that are now on your TBR? Tell us what's on your TBR.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So make sure to check back when, Mandy, for our videos.
Make sure to check back every Monday and Thursday for new videos.
And until then, we'll see you guys next time.